Hi, love. Hi, lovelies. It's Victoria, your. Hi, lovelies. It's Victoria, your countess, and we're at the Campbell House Museum. It's almost midnight, and I'm here with Sabrina. And we're here to see if we can make some communications. Of course, it's Samhain, and it's the full moon, and the veil's thin, so
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
We're gonna see what we can come up with. So I'm gonna flip this around. I'm gonna talk just a little bit about history, and we're gonna come in and out. And I'm not gonna go live, and then like we're gonna be running up the stairs, because then you're just gonna hear us pant and stuff like that, and that kind of stuff. So we're not gonna do that. But let's see what we'll get to happen. So I'm gonna flip this around, and so we're in the entryway. And beautiful etched glass. You see the photo there. We have over 60 original photos of the house that were rescued so we could see what the house looked like. This house was built in the early 1850s, and the Campbells moved in. You can see these old maps, you know, in here that's the late 1850s, and you see all that sparseness. In here, you see a lot of people and things moving in, and that is the Gilded Age. Back here, you have the cholera epidemic you're about 10 years after, and the population about, roughly 60,000 people, and by here, you have 500,000. So the Campbells were not related to the soup company at all. They were related to, they weren't related to the Duke of Argyll is what they're related to, is their family lineage. But so this is the entryway. We do have the house decorated for the Victorian morning. So you're going to see all the mirrors, all the statues are covered, and that is done because they believed in the Victorian spiritualist tradition that you didn't want to be seen because you didn't want to be next to die, and you also didn't want someone any of your mirrors or your figures absorbing the spirit. You wanted the spirit to leave the house and go to the light. So we're going to go in the parlor next. And and I encourage you, if you are in St. Louis or you're ever in town, to please come, because the house is amazing and it's quite spectacular. So we've got, and in this room actually, we don't even have the gasoliers on. We've just got the side lighting on. And we've got a replica of Robert's casket done as it was described in an article, and you have that information over here. And then you have all the furnishings that were purchased by Virginia Campbell, his wife. I can't put a percentage on how much of this is the Campbell's furnishings, but it's a lot. And a lot of the pieces were rescued at auction. So you can see it is quite the stunning room. All right, so we're going to kind of take pause for a minute and just kind of get a feel for what's going on. Do you feel it?
Cooler.
It is cooler in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
set it cooler, or is it?
Well, okay, and if you didn't hear, Sabrina asked if we set it cooler, and technically we do set the house cooler in general because of the antiques don't respond well to heat.
Right.
So, but yes, it is noticeably cooler
Yeah, it is.
than the hallway,
Your nose feels.
because there is some, cracks in the door because they are older and things like that. So you would think that front room would be a lot cooler. And I mean,
You've got all the carpets and stuff too.
yeah.
You know.
And it was done, those are done in looms, I believe, in the United Kingdom. And it's the same kind of company that does like the carpeting for the royal families.
Yes.
So you can see that amazing, the textures and the print work that goes into it.
Gorgeous.
Show you a couple of the paintings the paintings of the children were their children. If you notice, they have dark backgrounds, most of them. Those would have been children that had passed. That is a portrait of Virginia. And she, of course, being the matriarch of the family, of course, her son's really, she was a lovely lady. Well-educated Southern woman, became a Midwesterner and quite the socialite, was known to be a good hostess, a good mother too, educated her children well, and had 13 children, only 3 of which survived into adulthood. So, and think of that time, again, a lot of grief, yeah.
A lot of hope, a lot of grief.
Yeah. Bag's getting heavy. I'm like, okay. I feel it really swaying. Did I hit something? So you're going to hear us at times just be quiet because we're just listening and just feeling for a few minutes. That, I believe, is the oldest child, the first child that died, which would be, let me refer to that. That would be that's the first Hugh, and he died in 1844. He was just over 1 year old. He died from pneumonia. And that was even before they moved in this house.
Yeah, because it was 1858. They had the picture up there, and they
right. It was the early. They moved in 1854.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did they live before?
They lived down where the arch is.
Okay.
And they lived in the Planters Hotel.
Okay.
Then they lived in a row house that is, if you know where Eugene Field House is, the Field House Museum,
Right.
just up the street from there. Yeah. And where Ballpark Village is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm hearing the heat turn on. Glad I brought my water. I'm a little thirsty. If anybody's watching, right now I don't have any viewers, but if anybody wants to ask a question, I'll definitely try and answer it. What are you thinking? Anything?
I'm just looking. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you see something kind of flit by, just like right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just real quick. It was like something clothed. It wasn't like dark.
Okay.
Or filmy or anything. Yeah, just right. But you couldn't see all of it. Just a little bit.
Okay. On this floor or up higher?
On this floor.
Okay. So this is technically like our second floor, but it's split levels.
It's like if you would look right here, you would see where the slats are.
Yeah.
You would just see something go right beside that. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
How cool.
All right. So you want to move to the morning room and the dining room, and then we'll go
Sure.
upstairs. Okay. So since we're not climbing stairs, we'll go straight to there. Let's say goodbye to the parlor. So,
Well, Robert.
all right. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Always really, really appreciative to be here and to work for the Campbells.
Beautiful home.
Yeah. So that is Robert's portrait done later in life. He died here in this home on October 16th at about 10:40 in the evening. Finally succumbed to the cardiopulmonary issues he had had for a long time. He started out as a fur trader, actually going out into the wild. He was from County Tyrone, Ireland. Came as about 19 years old as an immigrant. Worked as a clerk for about 2 years and then went straight out to actually participating in trading. Invested wisely, gold and silver mining, later in life railroads, early adapter to steamboats. I mean, the man had the Midas touch. He just knew how to invest his money.
Look at his face when he thought of things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's
thought behind his eyes.
Yes.
Definite
He looks
thought.
like a very intelligent man.
Yeah, like he just didn't run off.
Right.
Had a plan. He was a good Irish boy.
Yes.
Had a plan.
Everybody thought he was wild and crazy, and here he ends up being the most secure of all of his family, outdoing his older brother.
You know?
His older brothers, actually, both of them, and his sister. He ended up leaving all the money for the family.
Oh.
Yeah. Over $9 million, something like that.
Wow.
Yes, a lot of money.
Definitely a thinker.
Yes.
How can I do for my family?
Yeah, and he did provide. He consistently, I mean, we have their letters, and he writes back to his sister Anne and his brother Andrew, and consistently sending them money. And it was his brother Andrew that had children. That's where the surviving Campbells come from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because none of the Robert and Virginia's children had children.
Okay.
So for the folks joining us, I'll keep checking, nobody's joining us, but we're in the morning room, and you see the stained glass that was rescued from the attic upstairs for the restoration from 2005. And again, per tradition, we do have all the statuary with faces or heads is covered, and so are the mirrors. The birds you see were actually the ones on the mantle. Were their birds? They are taxidermied, and those lovely Victorians, they saved everything. They saved hair, made mourning jewelry from it. And again, this used to be either like a walkout or a patio that was enclosed and made into the morning room, because people would come here and the family members would come and have coffee or tea in the morning. I'm not getting anything. Are you feeling anything?
It's very cozy.
It's just relaxing.
It is. It's just like the most
relaxing
room.
So I feel relaxed, but
You
I'm
feel
not.
like just jumping over the rope and just
On the couch. Yeah, I put my feet up, and a nice cup of tea would be great.
It's just such a I don't know, relaxing reading. I don't know, just like a whole relaxing thing. Although I did just get a chill.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just gonna say I feel it in the middle of my back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly where mine came from.
Oh wow. Okay. I got. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No.
Getting the goosebumps. Okay.
It's all right. Hello.
Hello. Hi. I know you all are used to me being here during the day.
Beautiful.
I haven't visited it late at night it's been probably 6 or 7 months since I last came with a friend of mine.
Thank you so much. This is
Yes.
wonderful. I love this.
The house is gorgeous.
It is. And you can tell all the love that's in the house. That's what you get from it.
Yeah.
But you don't get a mushy love.
Respectful love.
Yeah. Yeah, where the family, you did the right thing. You profited because you did the right thing.
Mm-hmm. They were
It was good for everybody.
Right. They were very upstanding members of the community.
Yeah.
They were members of they belonged to the First and then the Second Presbyterian Church in the neighborhood.
Yeah. You can tell. You can just tell by it's the whole house. It's the way it goes and flows
and how it's this was the first and last house. So it's a survivor. It's a very strong house.
It is. It is. You could tell. You could run around barefoot in this house.
Yes. So speaking of barefoot, there's parquet floors here. This room, the dining room, was added on to make room for the table, which is hilarious. I love that part of the story. That's just a little tidbit here. But the best thing about this room now is the wallpaper, because we just got a grant to replace it.
Oh, okay.
And so it used to be a cranberry-like one that there's hints of. See that room, the room we just came in,
Oh, okay.
the wallpaper in there. So this was the same, and
Oh, okay.
We were talking about the pictures before. Here's more of the pictures.
Yeah.
What it used, do you want to flip through those? You can.
No, I already did.
Okay,
when we were,
I remember before.
Yes, I was like, yeah, this is wonderful.
So, and we hired an artist we've used before she, a wonderful woman, I don't know her name right off the bat, recreated the wallpaper and yeah, did something what we could see, recreated it, and we did actually use a historic press to print it.
Yep.
So it's legit, as close to possible what we believe the wallpaper in here looked like. And it makes this room very, I love this room now. I come in, I'm like, and I feel hungry and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But it's new. I mean, don't mean
Yeah.
new like as in yesterday new. I mean new as in 19th, earlier new versus older new.
Right.
I know that sounds really stupid, but
No, I get, yeah. And remember, so this was a much smaller room.
yes.
So they added
What
on,
did they
you
do?
can see in the back, and they added out to the side.
Right.
And the beautiful Lumieres or torch you see there.
Yes.
And those are new because they actually belong to probably James, the last surviving son that died at the age of 30.
Okay.
So again, those would be later. He died in 1890. So they would be newer than the rest of the house.
You just get a people eating and new and old kind of, but it's not like old or new. It's kind of like been in the family. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
And
can
this would have
tell-
been
you
the
can tell that there's
table
new
where
things
Grant
and
was.
old things all together.
I do feel like every once in a while, like something in the chair here, because that would have been, Virginia would either sit there or it would be whatever dignified guest would be here. So Grant, President Grant, or, Mr. Eads came by, General Eads or Sherman or, yeah. Just, I mean, again, all these, they had all the glitterati of St. Louis here.
I love their little salt cellars. I have some from my grandmother that are just little crystal dishes. Now, those no spoons.
Yeah, aren't those amazing?
I do.
Everybody had their own. Interesting now, new is, I'm zooming in for anybody who might watch later, is these, we call them nut trays. They belonged to Julia Shoto Maffett, who lived down the street. Her relative, a descendant of hers is on the board of Oakland House in Afton, and he is also a descendant of the Benoit family that was part of Oakland House. So having both lineages, and he decided the trays needed to be back in the neighborhood they came from. So, and she lived on Widow's Row at the end of this neighborhood. So that's where those nut trays came from.
Those are very nice.
All right. So, do you want to even try the butler's pantry that feels like too new, and we'll maybe go upstairs?
Where's the butler's pantry?
It's right there, yeah. And that is her original training in silver. You think you might pick anything off of that? You want to try it?
Right. Was it the hallway?
Yeah, this little walkthrough. Because this was part of the original kitchen, or like a kitchenette kind of thing.
Here.
Yeah.
Right in here. You can tell busy people. Lots of busyness. Lots of working. Did that one go to the other side of the...
Yes, and so you'd have, because the table was so big, you'd have doors for the servants on either side of the table. And you notice the other end, there's double doors for your guests. Right.
Yeah, you do one way or the other. You serve, I will forget what it is, serve from one side, take from the other, and I never, I'm terrible at that. Silverware, I could do silverware. I just feel in this, like, busy, like going, like I need to be going.
Yeah,
Like I should be
and that would
going
be right.
somewhere.
Because if they had several guests, and and you're talking about,
Go to the kitchen out of this one and serve out of that one.
and yeah, they even have
That's what I
here the
thought.
the pass through here. So, and you have all the dishes and things here,
Yeah, because this seems like very...
and the original piping is down here under this cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's busyness, but like there's organized. This one is the in and out. This one is the grabbing dishes, running back.
Right.
This is the fast moving, whereas this is a little slower.
And they would, and knowing that too is, when you look up and you see the door stopper, what I call the stoppers or the plungers,
Right.
where they'd have that so people wouldn't slam the door.
Right.
And that would make sense because they were moving, they were busy.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't want your guests constantly hearing you slam the
Door, right.
It's beautiful. Did they put the design in the wood, or is it just the
Yeah, sometimes they were painted that way to make it look like a grained wood. And I think that was done when the house was refinished, when the major restoration happened from 2000, 2005.
We had lock with this too. I love lock. Sorry.
Yes,
Anything?
that's okay. Yeah, that's all right.
It's like, you just get feelings from the house. All right, where shall we go?
Okay.
Here, you lead the way.
All right, so I'm going to finish here and then
No.
we'll go upstairs. We're going to come back on in a few minutes.